and a charlatan. He's not a scientist. He's a pseudoscientist. He believes the Earth is ridiculously young, and as well as ludicrous other beliefs. What do you think that your world is flat? Let me ask you that, or disc-shaped, or not an obloid spheroid? Let's find out what you believe. Do you believe the world is an obloid spheroid? Yes or no?
You said a oblate spheroid, like
obloid spheroid. Yeah.
I don't believe the world.
You know what I find funny though? Keep this in mind. The guy asked me, "Do I believe that Earth is a oblate spheroid?" You do know, and you'll see why I'm laughing here in a little bit. But you do know, and that quote came from Neil deGrasse Tyson, right? He said that the Earth is kind of like pear-shaped, right? It's a oblate spheroid. That was Neil deGrasse Tyson who said that. It's the school textbooks, and you can believe me because I've been in school more recently than you have been, Deconverted man. So I'm up to date with the textbooks in the school about what they teach about the Earth. They literally show a crystal clear round Earth, right? Like there's no bulges, there's no pear shape to the world. It's literally a perfect circle. So the school doesn't even teach that the Earth is a oblate spheroid. That was literally, ironically enough, you'll see why this is funny in a little bit, but that was Neil deGrasse Tyson who said that the Earth is oblate spheroid, right? Like pear-shaped. That's literally what Neil deGrasse Tyson said. That's not what school taught us. It's like, seriously. I mean, this guy's just, a dummy, man. I mean, damn.
World's a oblate spheroid.
Okay. What is it then?
What is it? Well, truly, to give you the honest answer, nobody has been out to.
Okay, ipsiloid.
I can't. Well, let me say this without being talked over, please. If you want me to give you the exact shape of the world, I can't do it because I never went to see it myself. But based on my research, I don't believe it's a oblate spheroid that we were told in school. I have plenty of reasons to not believe.
So you don't think it's round?
Well, I do believe the world is round, but just
a sphere.
No.
Well, again, something can be round and not be a sphere, right? Something can be round and not be a ball. Let me give you an example. Look at our icons on the screen. Those are circles, right? But that's not a globe. Those are not a spheroid. They're a circle, though, right? They're a flat circle. It's like, so just by that one example, we can see that something can be flat and be a circle at the same time. Like, say, for instance, right? And I give him a couple examples, but, he wasn't able to catch on. But it's like you're sitting there implying that a circle means spheroid, but literally there's 10,000 examples of things in the world that are circles that are not spheroids. Like a dinner plate is a circle. That's not a globe. A car tire is a circle. A frisbee is a circle. A pizza pie is a circle. Hell, a pie is a circle. Well, I think that's enough examples, but, again, just off of those couple of examples, those are all things that are circles, but those are not spheroids, right? So again, it's like, do you acknowledge that you can't sit there and say, you ask me, well, I believe the Earth is round. I say, yeah, so that means you must believe it's a globe. It's like, no, I don't believe it's a globe or a oblate spheroid. And first of all, a circle doesn't even mean a globe.
Let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question?
Not a sphere. It's not a sphere. What shape is it then?
All right, let me ask you a question.
Like a bowl
is
shape?
It Deconverted man? Can you please?
This guy reminds me of that hamster from the movie Bolt. If anybody knows what I'm talking about. This dummy right here, man. Yeah, this big. Well, shit, I can't even say that. But man, this dude, if I was to pick a fictional character, and this guy reminds me of the most, I gotta pick that damn hamster from the kid show, Bolt. Damn, hell, at least me speaking for myself, that's the character this guy reminds me of for some reason.
Allow me to speak. Let me ask you a question. is a pizza pie? Is that circle or is that a globe?
Yeah, it's a circle, but you
It's
know,
a circle. Okay,
sphere.
so you agree that a circle does not mean something's a globe?
Yeah. But you know, I was trying to, you know, short.
But I mean, I mean, you see how dishonest that is. Is a frisbee
No,
a
it's
circle?
not dishonest. You're just, you know, but you believe the Earth is.
Again,
Is it like
you
a
can
flat
say that,
pancake or like?
You
Is it a
know,
bowl shape?
and again, you know, cats like this it really amuses me because they sit there and you know they act like they're very knowledgeable and smart about what they're talking about. But you can literally tell by the questions this guy's asking, he literally has never even took 5 minutes to actually look into what a flat earther believes. Like literally, there's no flat earther that believes the Earth is a pancake, right? Or in like a flat like a pancake that if you go too far you'll fall off the edge of it. Like literally, that's nobody believes that. And I've been a flat earther for over 7 years. I've been a flat earther since 2016. Okay, so hey, look, I'm an OG, right? I would be considered to be a veteran of flat Earth because I came into the idea and into the subject back when it first hit the internet. Really, it first hit the internet back in 2015, but 2016 is like the second year, right? So I'm like a OG when it comes to this, right? Believe that or not. So that I've been a flat earther for over 7 years now, I can tell you that I've never met a flat earther that I've talked to out of the years. I've talked to hundreds, right? And literally, I've never met one flat earther who believes that the earth is flat like a pancake, that you could go and fall off the edge. I've also never met any single person who believes that the earth is like bowl shaped. Maybe the exception is Samuel Owens, but I mean, that guy's, you know, a fruitcake, you know, inning of himself. But shit, he probably wouldn't even say that it's bowl shaped, right? He believes it's like concave, but not necessarily like a bowl, if you get what I'm saying. But shit, that would be the closest thing I could think of for a person who believes that stupidity. Shit, that dude, you know, has a personality disorder. That guy's like, that literally, that dude is Kevin Wendell Crumb from the movie Split. Right? 1 minute he's happy, the next minute he's mad. 1 minute he's the son of man, the other minute he's ruling from New Jerusalem Trailer Park on High Holy Hill. I mean, seriously, you know, these are the dummies we have out here, right? It's ridiculous.
Or what nonsense do you believe about the Earth?
Well, according to the scriptures,
according to the scriptures, so you believe things based on what the Bible. You think that the Bible says.
And I'm going to correct them. I brought up according to the scriptures we can go by, and it explains what the world looks like, right? The Bible explains to us what the world looks like. You certainly can't get a rotating spherical, earth from the Bible. You can't get that. The Bible is absolutely a flat, non-rotating world book. But my story, how I came to flat earth, literally, I didn't even go to the Bible to come to the idea. I just watched videos from people who done the research dealing with science or, you know, NASA exposed videos, you know, and stuff like that. And then it was later on that I went to the Bible and looked at that information in there. So again, I'm not basing this just off of what this one book says. That's literally not what I'm doing. I've done the research into science and about the history of the space organization. Hell, you don't even know that. What year was NASA founded? You don't even know that. Why is, let me give you another example, right? What about this guy, Wernher von Braun? Do you even know what he did? What did they put on his tombstone? What is that, Psalms 19:1? The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. What's the firmament? You don't know that. Again, you know, this guy is, you know, does a lot of talking, but he doesn't do a lot of listening, is what this character does.
Rather than the reality of things.
Once again, the deconverted man, if you would give me 10 seconds to speak, I was literally going to say, I've done the research about the shape of the world outside of the Bible. I didn't even go to the Bible to come to this conclusion.
Yeah.
So again, you're making all these conclusions, but you're literally making a fool of yourself because that's not what I'm saying. Now, once again, can I ask you a question? Is a car tire, is that a circle or is that a
look, okay.
Obviously, it's a circle,
sphere.
Right?
Sphere. Okay.
Something can be a circle and not a sphere.
Yeah, but I was trying to get to what you thought about it. You know,
let me ask.
It's like, dude, you do realize that these images you looked up, it's blurry for me, but it looks like a shape of the earth or sphere of the earth. It looks like. So you do realize, like, we can be honest and acknowledge that all these images here are artist illustrations of the earth. Like, you literally are not going to tell me that these are real photographs that you're looking up here, right? You're not delusional enough to claim that? Because again, as somebody who's studied and actually knowledgeable on the topic like myself, unlike you, I've actually done the research into this. And again, you can, don't take my words for it, look into this yourself, but you can literally take any of these NASA images, you can look at the clouds, they're duplicated on multiple different images, the continents are different shades of color and different sizes on each of the globes. It's like, if these were real, they all wouldn't be that different from each other, right? I mean, come on, this is so easy to see it. There's a deception going on here. It's like the fact that you can't see that, and again, you don't even have to tie it into the Bible. You could be an atheist and still acknowledge, well, yeah, there's something fishy going on here with this stuff. I mean, seriously, man. You're behind the curve. You're behind the curve. Inside joke. Shout out to anybody that knows what I'm making fun of. Right, this guy is beyond the curve. He's behind the curve. As far as his level of education goes.
Let me ask you a question. What altitude can you see the curvature of the Earth?
Oh,
I'd have to look that up.
You gotta look that. You don't know that off the top of the head?
No, I don't know that off the top of my head.
What altitude can you see the curvature of the Earth?
I'd have to look that up.
You gotta look that. You don't know that off the top of the head?
No, I don't know that off the top of my head. Do you know what 10,000 to the power of 50,000 is off the top of your head? No.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Look, I don't know what the answer is, but I know what the answer isn't, and the answer isn't that the world is any other shape than what the actual shape is. And
but again, it's like you say that the answer is that it's not, the Earth isn't any other shape than what it actually is. It's like, but how do you know what it is, though? I mean, you do realize that all of the information you get about that is handed down from you from governmental organizations that are trying to have control over your mind, right? Like again, you claim that you're a smart person and fall for the deception of the Bible and Christianity, apparently, but yet you weren't able to catch on to the fact that the government is pulling a deception over you. They're pulling the wool over your eyes. Like this dude literally said later on in the stream, I gotta use code language, but he literally said, hey, I took my Corolla waxes and the roosters that came with them. Read between the lines. This dummy literally lined his ass up and got those things without hesitation. It tells you, the level of intelligence that this guy's on. I mean, damn. This is laughable.
You believing in something else just amuses me to no end. But it doesn't surprise me.
But again, it amuses you to no end because you're not very knowledgeable, you're not very intelligent on the topics that you're speaking about. And again, I've proven it here, that I've completely annihilated you, metaphorically speaking. I annihilated you on every single topic we've brought up in this conversation. Again, you should be embarrassed. You're like 30-some years old getting butchered, metaphorically, by a 21-year-old. Hey, look, I'm out of your league, man. Hey, look, you're Jester, I'm Montresor, but I'm about to make you my Fortunato, and I'm going to seal this conversation up like the cask of Amontillado. Inside joke. This dummy doesn't even know what I'm referring to there. Which, if he went to school, I'm sure he's read that story before. But anyway, I digress. But again, the reason it's amusing to you is because, again, you're not knowledgeable on what you're talking about. It's like you don't even know, like seriously, if you were to threaten this guy, and again, I said, I'm not saying to do this, I'm just saying if somebody was to threaten this guy, and this guy couldn't, to save his life, he couldn't even give you 2 reasons why flat earthers question the globe. Like, seriously, if you were to threaten this guy and tell him, well, give me, 2 reasons why flat earthers question the globe, or something bad will happen. This guy couldn't tell you 2 reasons why people would be skeptical of the globe to save his own behind. Like, seriously. No, so again, it's like, take a seat, dude. You should just take your whole channel down because you're doing nothing for people watching you other than for entertainment. You're not teaching anybody nothing. You're not saying anything knowledgeable. You're just babbling on about something you don't know anything about, as easily as being demonstrated. Like tell me, the audience listening, tell me if I'm wrong here. Am I not proving that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about by all the evidence, the history, and the scientific information that I'm providing in this video? All he can do is, I don't know. It's like, come on. This is clearly, hey, these skills are not evenly distributed, right? Well, I couldn't say that, but inside joke, right? These skills right here, these are not evenly distributed. This guy's clearly, this is a lopsided conversation, and I got the upper hand. Right? I got the upper hand in this debate.
Because you believe in nonsense. You call Kent Hovind a scientist. What other nitwits do you have in your arsenal of nothing to offer?
Could you again? I'm trying to have a respectful, friendly conversation.
I'm not
acting like a child.
No, I'm just saying what's true.
Okay.
This is what is really true. Is the shape of the Earth is really they say obloid spheroid, or they say different.
Am I still on? Am I still on here, or did you take me down?
Oh, you're still here. We can still hear you rattling off things, but I'm going to interrupt you every time that you're absolutely wrong about everything. Okay, what age of the Earth do you think it is? Do you think it's 6,000 or some other stupid age as well? I just want to know.
I believe it's roughly 12,500.
12.5. Okay. Biological evolution through biological evolution.
Hold on.
I want to know what other beliefs you have.
Why is it that you won't allow anybody to speak?
I just want to get through all the bullshit.
Look, I don't have a problem answering the questions, but when you ask me, you don't even allow me to answer what you're asking me. You just say,
said 12,000. Yeah, that's good. Let's move on to the next thing.
Okay, but you won't even allow me to like, say for instance, right? I was going to ask you, could you take a guess as to what altitude you have to be?
Oh, and I want to point out, I forgot to mention this earlier when we were talking about Noah's Ark. I didn't even intend on going fully in depth into that topic about Noah's Ark. I was actually going to bring up another thing that would completely blow him out of the water with him, scrutinizing the Old Testament. I was going to bring up, well, what about when the Israelites went through the Red Sea? There's actual evidence that this actually happened. It's at the Nuweiba Beach. You can scuba dive into the Red Sea waters there, and they found ancient wreckage of Egyptian chariots in the sea there. Horse bones are down there, men's bones are down there in this area, right? Now, why is that down there? Well, it lines up with the story that the Israelites went through the sea, and the Egyptians chased them on the chariots, and then God closed the sea on them and crushed them in the sea. And even on land at the Nuweiba Beach, it lines up with the story too. There's mountain ranges surrounding them with only one path to go out, but the Egyptians came through that and closed it out. So the only way the people could get out of there was to go through the sea. That lines up with the story too. And the nail in the coffin is across from the Nuweiba Beach into Saudi Arabia. Mount Sinai is over there. And even the locals, even the government over there, they know that mountain is Mount Sinai. The top of the mountain is the only burned mountaintop in all the region. There's 12 pillars of stone at the bottom of the mountain. There's the golden calf altar that's been built there with etched in menorahs and animals into it and Hebrew writing on it. So again, all the evidence is there to support that the Old Testament stories actually happened. It's just you and other atheists out there are too gullible and ignorant to actually look into the information without being biased. And again, another nail into the coffin for this guy is it even says, I believe that's Galatians, the 4th chapter. Yeah, I believe that's Galatians chapter 4. It even makes a reference to Mount Sinai being in Arabia. And going back to what I said, they found Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia. But if you go to Galatians 4, it makes a reference to it being in Arabia. So once again, the Bible proven true. And we didn't even get to that point, but he would have been blown out of the water with that one. I mean, damn, this guy's getting... I haven't seen a atheist get this cornered in a hell of a long time, man. I mean, this is a embarrassment. He should be happy he deleted that stream. Because you even had in the comment section, there was a couple people there from his audience saying, yeah, man, that guy ETT, he got you good. And he literally deleted the comments. I went back 20 minutes later to see if anybody answered my question in the comments. And the other dude that was criticizing Deconverted Man, his comment was totally removed. So this guy deleted that guy's comment that was criticizing him, saying, I won. It shows you, man, the guy's not being honest.
To see the curve. And there was a reason I was going to ask you that, because I was going to see if you knew that Neil deGrasse Tyson, right, the world-famous astrophysicist, he said that no human could see any curvature of the Earth.
Oh, he did?
Not
really?
even 127,000 feet. Literally.
When did he say that and where?
When did he say that? He did it when he was on a... He was doing a show and he was speaking about the 2012 Red Bull space jump. Are you familiar with that? He said at that altitude, at 127,000 feet, no human could see any curvature of the Earth. It is flat at that level.
Let's see.
That's what he said.
Let's see that.
And I'll show you that because he couldn't find the full clip. And then he says, well, they probably took it out of context. I'm going to show you the clip from the full video. And I watched a full video. You can find it on YouTube. It's an entire hour long. So I'm going to show you the clip from when Neil deGrasse Tyson said that no human could see the curvature from 127,000 feet above the Earth.
Space station is, Hubble, etc.
Okay. So if the Earth were actually this size, the International Space Station would be orbiting about a half an inch above the surface. And that dude who jumped out of a perfectly good balloon, what's his name? Felix Baumgartner, he would have been about 2 millimeters above the surface of this globe. That's his edge of space jump. Now, I don't. It's fine. He wants to. I don't have a problem if he does it, but the honesty of it would greatly diminish what I think people thought he was actually doing. And not only that, they made sure to photograph him standing there with a really wide-angle lens, which curves horizontal lines. Okay. So in the photo, you see this curvature of Earth's surface, and he said, wow, he's in space. Look at that. No, he's not. At that height, you don't see the curvature of the Earth if you are 2 millimeters above this beach ball. You just don't. That stuff is flat. And then I showed examples of wide-angle lenses curving horizontal. I tweeted that.
You did.
But I don't want to be a spoil.
So, once again, you saw with that example I just given there, that even Neil deGrasse Tyson, right, the world-famous astrophysicist, he said that nobody can see any curvature from 127,000 feet. He said, you don't see the curvature of the Earth at that altitude. Meaning what? Nobody under that altitude, according to him, is able to see curvature. And then keep in mind, he also addressed the lens of the camera, like the fisheye lens, how it distorts the image. Because this guy, in a little bit, he's going to go to an image and say, well, oh, look, there's the curve. There's the curve. Right, you guys are wrong because the curve is there. But this dumbass doesn't even know that even Neil deGrasse Tyson, acknowledges that, yeah, that's not the curvature of the Earth. That's just the camera that was distorting the lens. And then this dummy doesn't know, because again, he doesn't do research on what he talks about. But as somebody who looked into the Red Bull space jump and actually watched the whole thing, when they open the capsule he's in before he jumps out, there's a camera located behind him inside the capsule, and it faces outwards, and literally it shows no curvature on it, because that one didn't have the artificial fisheye lens that distorts the image. This guy didn't even know that. He's like, oh, there's the curve. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. Come on, it's just stupid.
Let's see.
That's what you said.
Let's see. The altitude necessary to visualize detect curvature would seem to be about 14,000
He's reading
to
Google.
35,000 feet. Now, that was Google.
So would you say that Neil deGrasse Tyson was wrong?
It's quite possible that he was wrong. I'm going to have to find that quote. Okay, so there's
If you look up on YouTube,
let's see. Let's see. Neil
2012 Red Bull space jump. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Bull. Let's see. Space jump. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Yep. There's. Look. What's that? Oh man, that can't be a curve, can it? Oh man.
You do realize that.
Yep. There's. Look. What's that? Oh man, that can't be a curve, can it? Oh man.
You do realize that that's a fisheye lens camera, right?
No, it's. Oh god.
Like seriously, you do realize I could go in my backyard and set up a camera and literally 200 feet off the ground it would show the same curvature.
Let's see. He's pointed out.
See, he won't acknowledge that point that I just said. That bombshell I just dropped on him there. That he said, oh, there's no fisheye lens. That's nonsense. But it's like, dude, you literally know that I can go and purchase a GoPro camera, attach it to like a drone, fly a couple hundred feet in the air, and literally it will show curvature to the Earth from like 200 or 300, 400 feet in the air. So would you then say that's the curvature too, or will you acknowledge that's the camera distorting the image? I mean, you can't have it both ways. How the hell could there be so much curvature from 400 feet above the Earth, and the Earth be, 24,900 and some miles in circumference? Clearly, it's the camera distorting it. This dude probably doesn't even know the circumference of the world. Like again, he claims to be so knowledgeable, but ironically enough, I know more about the world he believes he lives in than he knows. Right? Flat Earthers know more about the heliocentric model than globe Earthers do. He doesn't even know what the word heliocentric or geocentric means. Bet $100 on it. So again, I mean, this is just astonishing. Guys, again, the dude's so dishonest, he won't even acknowledge that it's a fact. Again, you don't have to agree the world's flat, but you can at least acknowledge that, yeah, it's possible to distort the curve of the Earth with a fisheye lens camera. He won't even acknowledge that's possible. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson just said, well, yeah, that the curvature from that image there, that's clearly, just a fisheye lens. That's not the curve. Even Neil deGrasse gets that. This dummy can't seem to get that through his, thick skull.
Man, are you seriously trying to be stupid, or do you not realize that I literally can do that in the backyard? Like, are you going to acknowledge that or not?
I really don't care what kind of stupid things you come up with to.
Again, it's not. How is that stupid? I simply said that you acknowledge it's a fact that I could go get a drone and fly 200, 300, 400 feet in the air in my backyard, and it will literally show me curvature of the Earth from well under 1,000 feet. Right? Significant curvature to the world. It's like, do you acknowledge that's true? Because it is true. Anybody can go do that experiment themselves. Again, he's not even honest enough to admit that's true. He's just, oh, that's the curve. I mean, I believe it. Like, there's literally video on ground level. There's some cameras out there that are so distorted. Literally on ground level, like 2 feet above the ground, it was showing curvature to the Earth. literally 2 feet above the ground. Clearly, that's the distortion of the camera, right? And he still won't even acknowledge that. He's like, oh, whatever. Come on.
Once again, you can say it's stupid, but I've done more research into these.
No, you haven't. No, you've done things to confirm your belief.
Notice.
He said all I did was look into things to confirm my belief. It's like, oh, well, dummy, you do realize that every flat earther was not born a flat earther. You do realize that me and every other flat earther out there went through the education system and was taught the globe in school, and we all believe that. I remember to this very day, when I was sitting in first grade, the teacher pulled the globe, she grabbed the globe off the counter, turned the lights off, she grabbed a flashlight, and used that to represent the sun, and she showed us, okay, look guys, when it's daytime over here, it's nighttime on the other side of the world. Then the earth rotates, and then it's nighttime for us, and daytime for them. I remember that, sitting there on the rainbow color carpet watching the teacher demonstrate that. I remember that all these years later. So again, I believed it. I had no question that we lived on the globe. I never even thought to question it until 2016 when I started looking into some things that, didn't make sense about the whole thing. So again, you can't sit there and say, oh, just looking into things to validate what you wanted to say. It's like, no, because we all started off with what you believe about the globe. But then, since we had an open mind, we saw all of the problems and the fakery with NASA. We saw all that, and we're like, wait a second. Something's off with this. We got to look further into this. So again, the guys like this just demonstrate that they're not knowledgeable. And I've proven this guy literally looked not even 5 minutes into the flat earth, because he said earlier, it's like, what, you guys believe it's like a pancake or something? It's like, dude, literally nobody believes that. Most believe that there's a dome over the world, or some believe the plane goes out to, a third or distance to other lands. Again, there's many different beliefs, but literally nobody believes it's a pancake shape, that if you go far enough, you'll fall off. The fact that you could say that demonstrates that you have very little knowledge about the topic that you're speaking about.
It's not real
Google search. And that was your proof.
Okay, so here's what I found Neil say on X there. Let's see. The edge of space jump, a corresponding fall to the schoolroom globe begins 1 millimeter above the surface.
There's a video is what I'm talking about. There's a video you can find on the internet doing a commentary about the Red Bull space jump. That Neil, what's this guy? I can't remember the guy's name. But the Red Bull space jump and
here we go. So you have Flathead. Let's see. We have Flathead politics. I'm not going to watch that one because it's going to be highly edited. Here's one from Star Talk that it actually comes from. That's probably where they're getting this from. But sure, why don't we go with the cherry-picked one, see what they say. You don't see the curvature of the Earth. You don't see the curvature. Okay, so they're cherry-picking what he said, obviously, from something larger than what he said. Yeah.
Again, you can see the full unedited one.
Look, Big Fink shutting down flat earthers. Neil deGrasse Tyson. So he disagrees that the Earth is flat.
This cat said Neil deGrasse Tyson. This cat can't even say the dude's name right. Oh man! And you know what I find funny here? The dude goes over the point where, well, look. Now Neil deGrasse Tyson is debunking flat Earth, and it's like, well, see, he's going against it. And then it's like, well, dude, I never said that this guy was a flat earther. I simply said that there's a world-famous astrophysicist that has a lot of knowledge about the heliocentric model. He even said that you can't see the curvature from the 14,000 feet that you said you believe you can see it from because Google told you. That's the only reason I brought this guy up. Never once did I say that this guy was a flat earther. Everybody knows that this guy is like one of the top what's the word I'm looking for? This guy's at the top level of, the whole heliocentric model, being taught in the education system. This guy's at like the top level with those dudes up there. Right? This guy's like one of their priest of this religion. Basically, to put it in simple terms.
I never said that this guy said the Earth was flat. I didn't say that. I simply
he said this thing that you agree with at one point, but when he says something you don't agree with, then you disagree with him. All right. So
but again, you do that with a lot of people, though. Again, I could easily say 20 different people or organizations that say some things I agree with, but then other things I disagree with. And I've said that for years and years. So Neil deGrasse Tyson's the same. I think he's a very smart man, definitely. That doesn't mean he's right with everything that he's saying. So again, you can say when somebody's right on something, you could agree with them, and then they could also go off on something. Matter of fact, I watched this guy on YouTube called D. McClung, and one of his statements is, he was right until he was wrong. Right? He was right until he was wrong. Right, so somebody can be right about a lot of things, but then they can be wrong about something they say. Doesn't mean you hate them. You give them credit, but then if they go off, then you say, they got that one wrong. And then move on. It's like, it's not the end of the world. You get what I'm saying? And by the way, since the video is almost over, if anybody made it this far into the video, put hashtag DM. DM stands for Deconverted Man, right? So if anybody made it this far into the video, put hashtag DM in the comment section.
Know that your beliefs are wrong. We know that. I wonder what else is wrong.
Deconverted Man, you're literally putting words on my mouth. I simply said that Neil deGrasse Tyson, sure, he's definitely a smart man. I simply said that when he did a commentary on the 2012 Red Bull space jump, he said at 147,000 feet, you can't see any curve. That's all I said.
Okay, so what?
So that shows that you were wrong saying that you can see the curvature at 14,000 feet, like you looked up on Google.
Or he was wrong.
Okay, now how do you determine what one of them is wrong? Because keep in mind, your evidence is a Google search, right? You sit there and make fun of Christians, but your evidence is a Google search.
Yeah.
Like Google doesn't lie about anything, right?
Well, it could be wrong, sure.
Right, you see that he's like, well, that's not really important. Right, so he'll bash Christians for believing in this ancient book, and why would you believe something that a bunch of people writ down? But then his gullible ass is like, oh, well, let me look this up on Google to validate this. It's like, wait, but aren't you now just believing something that a couple people typed down and put on the internet? It's like you do acknowledge Google lies about certain things at times, right? So you mean to tell me that now you're trusting known liars? I mean, come on, this guy is a damn clown. And you'll see he boots me off in a minute. And why is that? Because he was getting daggered, right? This guy, he haven't felt the heat like this under his ass with a opponent in quite a while. You could tell, man, that I had this guy on his tippy toes right here. I had this guy on his toes the whole time, man. This guy hasn't faced an opponent that brought the heat like me in quite a long time. This guy usually used to people that just repeat the bullshit he says, but he hasn't went up against an opponent like me in hell of a long time. You could tell, man, that this guy was fumbling for his words. He was doing a whole lot of tap dancing, basically.
But do you acknowledge that you trust known liars?
I trust no liar. What the fuck does that
mean? I said you trust known liars is what it.
Oh, I trust known liars?
Like
no, I do not. No, I don't trust people that are known to lie. So bye. All right, let's get these. I don't want him here anymore. Waste of my.
What?
No, I don't trust people that are known to lie. So bye. All right, let's get these. I don't want him here anymore. Waste of my time and energy. I'm not going to deal with young earthers and flat earthers and that nonsense. If you want to, you're more than welcome to, but he's not welcome here. And the reason why I interrupted, if you think, Deconverted, you're being unsocial, whatever, I'm not going to listen to nonsense, because that's all it is. Ron Wyatt, known forger. Then he brings up Kent Hovind as a scientist. Really? That's his standard. He's done research.
But again, though, with that, it's like, well, what about Kent Hovind? And again, as I said earlier, Hell, and now I'm demonstrating the point again. You can agree with somebody and disagree. I said earlier, Ken Hovind, I disagree with him when it comes to scriptures, but as far as evolution, he does a very good job at proving the point, right? So, again, what about him is not a scientist? Like, literally, I've never seen a person debate the creation standpoint against evolution as well as this guy can do it. I mean, this guy knows his stuff when it comes to evolution. He knows hell more about it than you know, Deconverted. Okay? So again, what about this guy is not a scientist? First of all, what determines a person to be a scientist? What's the word science mean? You know, this guy doesn't know the answers to those questions. But that's my challenge I got for him. It's like, you say that this guy, Kent Hovind, is not a scientist. Well, what about him makes him not a scientist? I mean, for Christ's sake, the guy literally has, I believe it's called Dinosaur Adventureland or something like that. He has like his own, I don't want to call it theme park because it's like an educational center. Like, you know, how I believe, what is this guy? Bill Nye, I believe he has like the Ark Encounter or something like that. That they have like they build a Noah's Ark, and they call it, I think it's called the Ark Encounter. You can look it up. And this guy Ken Hovind, he has basically like an educational center. They call it Dinosaur Adventureland, or you know, something along those lines, where you can come out and learn about, you know, the creation story and about all these, you know, species from the past, you know, and things like that. So again, what about this guy is not a scientist exactly? I mean, you need to explain that, because you're not making a lot of sense.
Research. No, what he's done is he's gone to web pages that confirm his beliefs that he holds. He hasn't done any actual research on.
And again, that just isn't true. That just is not true. Because again, on any topic that you could pick out, say for instance, right, the Noah's Ark thing. There's multiple different other places in the world where they claim they found Noah's Ark. I've looked into those, and out of all of the sites that are claimed, I find the one on Mount Ararat to be the most reliable when it comes to evidence. I've looked at the other sites around the world where they claim they found the ancient boat at, and I've said, well, nah, that's, you know, doesn't seem right there. So again, I'm not just cherry picking something and just going with that. Same thing with the Nuweiba Beach. There's like 20 different locations from Egypt that people claim the Red Sea crossing happened from Exodus. I've looked at multiple of them, but the one that makes the most sense and has the most evidence is the Nuweiba Beach. Same thing with Mount Ararat. Excuse me, same thing with Mount Sinai. Same thing with Mount Sinai. There's multiple places in Saudi Arabia and around the world where they claim is the real Mount Sinai, the real mountain of God where Moses received the commandments. I've looked at multiple of those sites, but the one that comes up at the top with evidence is this one in Saudi Arabia. The locals call it Jebel El Lawz or something like that. The government knows that that's the real mountain. They have it off limits. So again, you know, this guy's just talking out of his behind is what he's doing. You know, he has no evidence in what he's saying, but then criticizes people like me who actually know what they're talking about. And you can see he got daggered in this debate. I mean, he hasn't faced a competitor like me in a long time that literally put him at rock bottom with all his arguments. Everything he brought up got sliced down to the root.
The matter at all, and I just don't have the patience for it. Not even a little. And I don't care if he thinks whatever about me. I don't care. I just don't have the patience for it. Nonsense, you know. I'm like, do you have any empirical evidence? He points to, ships are being made that could be used to pay for stuff, and maybe people will put them in their hands, and that will be the mark of the beast. Yeah, sure. The moment that we're all required to put them in.
It's like you don't even have the decency to acknowledge about, say for instance, again, even if you don't believe in the Bible, can we at least agree that the one example I given out of, say, 100 different things that people claim is the mark, the one I give literally fits every qualification of the prophecy. Like, can we at least acknowledge that again, even if you don't believe in the book, can we at least have the decency to acknowledge that the one thing I said it was literally fits every qualification according to the book of what it is? And he's like, whatever, that, nothing there. But again, the Bible says, let the ignorant be ignorant still, right? Let the righteous be righteous still. Let the ignorant be ignorant still. That's what the Bible says. So this guy is the ignorant. So, hey, if you show him the evidence, doesn't want to believe it, hey, let him believe what he wants.
Our hands in our foreheads to pay for stuff, then I guess that would be pretty darn close to the mark of the beast. But that still wouldn't prove that the Bible is true. Not even a little. Yeah, we have mummies.
he said it wouldn't even prove it a little. Wouldn't even prove it a little. So it wouldn't even spark your interest that something in a book written thousands of years ago literally happened in the world how it said it would. I mean, that wouldn't even 1% spark your interest. I mean, come on, that's just retarded. This dude said, we have mommies older than 12,000 years, right? Well, again, how do you know that they're actually that old? Because all the dating, it's basically like a speculation. You literally can't precisely date something to an exact day and exact year. I mean, to believe that's just stupid. That's just retarded to say that you can totally reliably date something to an exact year. It's just not true.
Yeah, we have all sorts of stuff that's way older than 12,000. He doesn't have any citations at all, and he can rattle off numbers or whatever off the top of his head. I don't care. I just don't care. How do you know who's right, Neil or the Google? I'm going to trust Google more than I'm going to trust Neil to be right about it, broadly speaking. Google's not going to be necessarily right, but for something that I'm doing on the fly,
Damn right it's on the fly.
And my thing is logic, not science.
His thing is logic. Alright, well, I'm going to end that video there. I hope everybody felt